This podcast is brought to you by Body Armor. Drink BodyArmor.com. Get your edge.
Introducing Body Armor Edge, sports hydration with the boost of caffeine.
Here comes John Morant, dribbles up into some full court pressure. He's quick, Josh is slow and finds the defense, going coast to coast. One man to beat, and it's the big man. John leaps up. Oh, and hammers
With 100 milligrams of caffeine and 1,000 milligrams of electrolytes, there's no better way for John Morant to get his edge. It's more than a sports drink. It's Body Armor Edge.
You're listening to EPPN's Today with DW Sports Edition with DW, Mr. Tom Greer, and Snaps.
Welcome, everybody, to Tuesday night. Whoa, I'm coming in hot. Tuesday night edition of Today with DW. With Mr. Tom Greer.
Hello, hello.
Snacks.
What's up?
Why does everybody sound low? I'm telling you what, Mr. StreamYard, you're giving me a lot of problems today. Anyway, it is the Tuesday night edition.
Because I got the paper over the mic?
No, it's got to be StreamYard. I don't know. It'll probably come out fine at the end. Everybody, welcome. What's going on, Mr. Rob? Oh, Rob is one of my good friends out of New York City, but he likes to cook while listening to our Today with DW. So what is on the plate tonight?
That's awesome.
Yes. So he cooks, takes the whole hour, and then boom, look at that. Entertained and have a full stomach. Right.
That's always good to have.
Yeah, well, yeah, coming from you, Snacks. Yeah, of course. By the way, also, everyone, the new Earplug Podcast hats have been ordered.
Sick. They look awesome.
Thank you.
Ooh, spring rolls.
What's he doing? Oh,
he said
spring rolls.
He said spring rolls.
What the? What's the difference?
Where the hell did that come from?
That's what Rob's cooking tonight.
I'm like,
and
looking,
I think, and if you look at his profile picture, he's got a plate full of spring rolls, I think, right in there.
There we go.
What's the difference between a spring roll and an egg roll? I don't know the difference. He would know. I have no idea. Oh, anyway, the hats are being ordered. I got a lot of good comments about that. 10 of them have already been pre-ordered, so that was pretty cool. Thank you so much for the people that ordered them early. And those 10 people that ordered early will also be getting some Body Armor swag and some stickers and some other earplug swag as well. So that'll be pretty fun. 2 days until baseball.
Can't freaking wait.
That's how I feel. Or should it be like this?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what it is. Ooh,
yeah, man, it's more sports. It's more sports because we're about to lose. Hockey and basketball are going to end at some point, and then we're just going to have a whole summer of baseball. The greatest sport in the history of mankind.
And that's debatable. That's one man's opinion. That is not fact. That is not
factually the hardest sport known to man.
What was that thing that we did last week that Tom was supposed to make? The views of the...
Oh, yeah, what you were supposed to do.
The views thing. That's, there was something. I was working all week. I was in the studio all week, and I was thinking, I'm forgetting to do something right now.
Are you sure you were in the studio all week?
Well, working I was. During the day, I was.
Okay. Kim's not on yet.
Thank God.
All right. Egg rolls are Chinese with a heavier wheat wrapper. It also has lettuce and bean sprouts. Vietnamese spring rolls are pork or seafood with a larger variety of veggies, mushrooms, and herbs. Nice. And there's your
put you in there?
Okay. Yeah, you put me in there? You're eating me. Oh boy.
Here comes the money.
Sorry, I'm having fun with my new sound effects here. But anyway, we will put up the ordering for the hats up on our website, earplugpodcast.com. Any purchase would be lovely to help support the network. As we were saying, 2 days before baseball, Tom will be really happy. We might even, you know what, we might do a DW and Tom moment and do an extra edition maybe next week if Tom's up to it, maybe to do baseball.
Cool.
Maybe talk about the opening season and what to expect. Hey, Timmy, what's going on? Maybe we should do that because last year we didn't really have anything. There was no sports going on, so we really didn't do that. So maybe we'll
that
do
was the funny part about last year. You started today with DW, the sports edition, and there were no sports going on. That was the best part. I remember.
Yeah, and look what happened. Look where we are now.
Exactly.
But maybe we'll do that. You guys, if you want us to do a baseball edition, it'll probably be me just sitting here letting Tom talk for an hour. But who knows? Let us know if you would like us to do that, because I think I'd do a little special edition just talking about the season, what's expected. Obviously, you hear that here on the sports edition each week. But we don't let Tom talk a whole hour on baseball. I mean, we've let him go a little bit, but we try to reel him in. So
we're a sports show. We're not a baseball show. We got to talk about all the sports news, all the main sports news, like the important, good sports news.
Cornhole.
Yeah, cornhole makes the news every once in a while.
We do, and it's a wonderful day in the neighborhood because one of our old sponsors has returned. I am so excited that they are back. They will be opening this weekend, and we'll tell you more. So you're gonna have to stay tuned to find out who I'm talking about. But I'm so excited that they're back.
They're pumped.
COVID is definitely lightening up a little bit, and somebody rearranged my sound effects. I don't have my clap, not the clap.
I was gonna say that's a sound effect.
There it is. Yes. Is the clap a sound effect? Yeah, it hurts when you pee. You're saying stuff when you're going to the bathroom. So yeah, that's a sound effect.
No,
I've only heard. I've never had. Anyway, before we get into today's show, this is kind of something breaking news. Literally, first, something that actually gets announced before our damn show instead of 2 hours after our show when our show is over with. The NFL has just announced that it's going to regular season to 17 games. This is just coming a few hours ago. Thank you to Mr. Tom for searching this out. NFL owners approved the expansion of the regular season to 17 games today, a long expected decision that will generate additional revenue for the country's richest sports league. Players agreed in the initial game as part of their 2020 collective bargaining agreement, which gave the league an option to expand as soon as the 2021 season. Preseason will be reduced from 4 games to 3 to maintain compliance with the collective bargaining agreement, which limits the total number of preseason and regular season games played to 20. Now, what is pretty cool with this, they're also talking about each team will end up having its own, will be going abroad every 8 seasons, I think. After I believe that's how it was placed, that every 8 seasons, every team's going to be playing internationally somewhere or over in the UK or wherever they're going to have it. I think that's pretty cool. I've even heard the UK likes actually having the NFL over there. Granted, we'll be talking some soccer as well, but their football obviously is soccer. But they actually, the stadiums are being sold out. So I think that's kind of cool. I mean, I know a lot of our sports, some aren't looked at as highly, even our professional sports, because it's not tradition or whatnot, because the other countries' sports are, I think soccer is one of the oldest sports out there. I think it might be one of the oldest sports, if not like cricket or rugby or anything like that. But
you'd be surprised on how much it's growing over in the UK right now with football, especially in Europe in general. I know we had a player a couple years ago that was from Yugoslavia.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Rob goes, wow, I thought basketball was the richest sport. The more you know.
Basketball players do. Basketball does make a lot of money, but no, I hope it's not just still one of those ploys to eventually put a team over in London, because I think that's probably one of the dumbest moves the NFL could make. I guess those gimmick games, like every once in a while, you just send a team overseas, but
it's going to be every season. It's going to be every season now.
The best part. Yeah, well, they do it. I think at least one team goes, like 2 teams go every year.
2, but now every 8 seasons, I guess throughout the 8 seasons, every team will end up have gone over there. Not every team's gone over to the UK.
I'd be pissed off if I was a season ticket holder in one of those teams. That's one game. That's one game you're losing.
Well, that's why they went to the 17. That's why they can do that now. So I mean, basically, all you look at it is they. Yeah, but the thing is they had 16 regular season games and 4 preseasons. So all they did was say, okay, let's just move the dial over a little bit. Now
Right.
you're playing a regular season game, and you're playing one less preseason.
Yeah.
I mean, they were playing the games anyway. That's just you got to
No,
have
what
your
I'm saying-
starters in one more game.
Oh no, well I'm just saying that like as a season ticket holder, it's just one more game that you're gonna be. It's just one game that you're gonna be losing because you're gonna go play in over in Europe or something like that, or over in the UK or something like that.
The NFL has been trying to figure out a way to create a league in Europe, in the UK, and overseas.
Well, they want to put a
they
team there.
Well, it's not just a team. They looked at doing a team, but it's not. I don't think financially that's going to be smart. I think what they're going to do is they're going to wind up creating another league over there. I mean, what would be even harder for them is if they did a division or a conference or something like that, because now they're coming back and forth.
Yeah,
Europe,
I don't think that would be
you know,
feasible at all.
I mean, Germany's big into football, American football right now. The UK, I know that they have some in Turkey and Russia. There's actually some American football being played and
But
things
do you
like
think
that.
But do you think that they would actually start a whole league over in Europe? Because like I feel like you're never gonna get I don't think you're ever gonna have American football be the rabid league that it is here over in another country. Like there's never in a million years is it gonna come anywhere close to what soccer is in other countries.
Well, no, I mean they tried it with the world. I think it was the World Football League over there. They had the Rain and all those guys. So I mean they tried it, but I think that they've learned to accept that it's a smaller market. But then they can take their players that might not be, a team can actually have a farm team there,
Right?
and then they can take their players that might not be starters and then put them over there. Then now they've got a filter, just like that. We were talking about with.
Would you sign up for that as a player? Like, would you sign up for that as a player to your farm? Like being a minor league player, having to go play in London for a farm team for like the
Hey, if the money's
Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, but like, is it really worth it though? Because you're probably getting if you're a minor league football player, there's no way that you're making a lot of money. Like minor league baseball players make
right
like
now $30,000 plus to play for a short season.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. That's not
So,
bad. But you also got to figure out that you're gonna have to figure out the conversion between US dollars and what you're gonna be getting paid when you're over in London.
Yeah, but if they're and that's the thing, and that's where that's where your agents come in and things like that. But I think it's a good move because it takes away. I mean, you've got players that actually from here that are semi-pro football players that are going overseas and playing. You got collegiate athletes that know they're not going to make the NFL right now, but they could get 2 or 3 more years and go over there and light it up and then come back. I know there's a quarterback that went to Castleton, Vermont, and he wound up going across, and now he played over there at quarterback and he lighted up because it's like Canada. You have to have so many. You have to have so many national players that are on the team, and then you can bring in the U.S.
Yeah.
So if they do it that way, then yeah, you're going to still get paid the money. There's teams in the Dominican Republic, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just don't know if it winds up being like financially viable for the NFL to just be like, we're going to put our whole minor leagues over in Europe rather than just, trying to partner up with maybe just making the XFL your minor leagues, like why go through all the trouble of just putting something overseas that is probably a lot harder to manage rather than just, partner with a league that's in the States,
I'll tell you why, because the restrictions in the United States are so much higher than they are anywhere else in another country.
I guess it makes sense.
Meaning what?
That means that they can get away with a lot more over there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you still got to play by the rules, I would assume.
Well, you still play by the rules, but I'm just saying to you that the United States doesn't have jurisdiction over there.
Right.
They can't go and tell you how to run a business in another country. That's
but if it's a minor leagues for the NFL runs the league, like
that's if the NFL is the ones that are doing it. If a team goes, it's a separate business, it's a separate entity. And if the NFL doesn't have anything to do with it, the NFL is under different
if it was an NFL minor leagues, the National Football League is going to be involved in some way.
Yeah,
but the United States won't have jurisdiction over what they're doing over there.
That's true.
They
It's just
could-
like
they
having
could
a shelter.
open up-
It's just like having a
Yeah.
company abroad. They're
Yeah.
under the European.
They can
rules.
open a bank account. They can open a business building. They can do whatever they got to do over there. It's a separate business entity, and they have no jurisdiction over there in another country.
True.
So, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell had also said the decision to expand was a monumental moment in NFL history. He also cited the league data that had traced the highest rate of player injuries to preseason games. So that is interesting. You cut that down. Obviously, they didn't have any preseason games. There will remain one bye week per team. The season will begin on Thursday night, September 9th, and will end on January 9th, 2022. The Pro Bowl will be played on February 6th of 2022 and at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. That's a good thing because Vegas needs money for that stadium they just built. And the Super Bowl will be played at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles and has been pushed back 1 week from February 6th to February 13th. I think it's great either way. Obviously, it's definitely an added one extra game is God. You know what? I'd love to see the numbers for advertising and TV rights because one more game could be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of
Could be
revenue
millions of
coming in.
dollars for one more
Yeah,
game.
that's true.
I wonder what they're going to do about that Thursday game, though, because Thursday Night Football got bought up by Amazon. Like, I'm pretty sure Thursday Night Football is going to be exclusively on Amazon Prime now.
Dude, really?
Believe so.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, that's the future of like watching sports. Like, eventually they're going to drift away from being on like.
Then I won't be watching football because I ain't paying to watch football.
No,
I'm not.
Yeah, and they did that.
Something.
They did that with DirecTV. Did that thing with the NFL.
Well, the red zone, the package, and all that kind
of
stuff.
Yeah, but you get it for free. People were getting it. You call up and complain, and you're getting it for free.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, I'm not paying $120 when the guy across the street's getting it for nothing.
Right. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that would definitely change. I don't think that's a smart business plan because you could lose a lot of Nielsen ratings.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of where the future of everything's going. Everybody's going to streaming services and all that stuff. So they're testing out the whole, it's like how they were showing games on Facebook every once. I know baseball was doing it. There'd be games exclusively on Facebook or streaming them that way. So like video streaming is the future. So like, I totally understand. Cause if you have an Amazon Prime account already, you can watch Thursday Night Football.
Which I do, but if it goes on to another network or if ESPN decides to have their own streaming service network and pay for it, I'm not doing that. I'm definitely, I never got the NFL package. Whatever games were on public television or, that's what I watched. So it'll see.
Yeah, but if it's a part of the like, that's what I'm saying. Like ESPN, it might be one thing, but if you're gonna have all these streaming services anyway, the NFL is going to try to figure out how they're going to fit themselves into it.
I mean, we've talked about streaming services too. I mean, I dropped my Hulu. I've dropped a bunch because I don't need them all. I mean, it's costing me more money for streaming services than it was if I was going to have regular cable anyway. And the whole point of getting rid of cable was to save some money. You know, between Netflix, HBO Max. Well, I don't pay for that. Disney Plus. Oh, I don't pay for that. Netflix, Amazon Prime. Stars I have just for a little bit because for 6 months it was $5 a month and American Gods is on there. So, but after the 6 months, I'll probably cancel it. But that'll be interesting to see how they do that. That could be. It's not like movies or TVs. That could shoot them right in the foot. I don't, but I don't know the ratings. I don't know. I mean, there's a question asking for a friend. If you were a sports fan, would you pay to watch NFL, baseball, soccer, any sport? Would you pay like a streaming service? Would you pay like a service like Netflix or Amazon Prime if you don't already have it to watch football? Put it in the comments below. I think I might even bring that out.
Hulu does that. Hulu does it. Hulu's got live sports.
Yeah, well, they're part of because they're part of Disney and ABC and everything else. So that's why.
But I think it's like it is like over $100
a month for
$90 a month. Yeah,
Hulu Live.
How much?
$90 a month. For one thing that doesn't give you as many channels, and when your cable is cheaper than $90 a month and gives you more. So, I mean, I liked Hulu because it had Impractical Jokers, but I don't want Hulu anymore. It was just, even the regular one was getting a little expensive after a while. But so I like this move. I think we're all thumbs up on this. It's great to have an extra game and going into the season. Cutting down now, I guess the last question for this topic, and then we'll get into today's show is do we think, Hank, that obviously preseason, we consider the first 4 games of this regular season the preseason because there was no preseason. Considering on how we saw the quality of play in the first couple of games, considered to be preseason. Do you feel shortening the preseason even by 1 game is going to make a difference next year, or do you think it's not going to matter at all?
No, because they pretty much had it figured out after the 3rd game. The 4th game was basically just a glorified, hey, let's get everybody that's been here that's left over, and whoever we're gonna cut at the end of this 4th game. So that was irrelevant. I mean, they 3 games, even 2 preseason games, tune-up games to see what you're gonna do. I mean, is enough. You don't need to play that many games and risk the injuries to the players that you've got, especially your starters.
True. I could see that. I definitely see that. I know that a lot of your starters don't play a lot in the preseason, or if they do, it's very short timed. Like Brady will play for a few minutes here and there and not play the whole game, obviously. But
it all comes down to, I mean, they make. I guarantee you that the teams make agreements. Hey, listen, we're going to start our starters for the first quarter, or we're going to do our first half. First quarter is going to be our starting quarterback, or everybody's going to be on the starting offense, and everything's going to be out there first, and then we're going to go to our second, and then we're going to go to our third, then we're going to go to our fourth.
Right.
So they do it that way. They might, if they got a guy that they want to see more of, then they'll keep him in there for 2 quarters.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
You don't even see really, like I think you said, nobody really none of the important players play in the preseason anyway, so it's just I can cut it back.
I always like the guys that are going, oh, Giants are 3-0 right now. I go, it's preseason. Dude, it's preseason.
Yeah. People that get too
wrapped up. Do you even know any of the
in
guys that are playing?
Yeah, no. If you get too you can't get too wrapped up in the preseason. I'd rather them just not have a preseason. I'm fine with like a couple of weeks of them figuring things out, but the preseason just gives you anxiety because your favorite player might get knocked out with an injury.
Well, it's more revenue too. I mean, there's 3 games selling tickets, so then
of course
they're gonna need that revenue from after this year. That's for damn sure.
And they're on TV. The NFL's gonna do just fine even after the COVID year. I'm not. They're good.
Well, the NFL
they got money in the coffers.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that bombshell, let's get into today's show. Are the Mets' pockets really that deep? Is there a new villain by the Nets coming to the NBA? And does anyone really give a shit about U.S. soccer? All that and more when we come back.
Calling it a day, Carrie?
Oh no, there's more.
Like what?
More reps, more steps. More this, more that. More time to breathe. More hustle, more grind.
There's more to Carrie Underwood.
And I should wrap by midnight.
Impressive.
And there's more to Body Armor Light with natural sweeteners, no sugar added, and only 20 calories.
Good time, though.
Welcome back, everybody. It's a Tuesday night edition of Today with DW, the sports edition with Mr. Greer, Snacks.
Hola.
What's up?
Tom goes to the bathroom and Snacks puts in a dip. This is a hell of a show.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into today's show right off the bat. If you missed the beginning, we just talked about the NFL going into a 17-game season, which I think we're all in favor of.
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. More football is better for everybody. And especially pushing the Super Bowl back a week. I think it'll wind up being like a 3-day weekend.
That'd be
all
nice.
here for it.
It's just one more factors for the division champs.
But Hank, that's where the buck stops. They'll be division champs, and then Rodgers will fall just short of a Super Bowl.
Oh boy. Where's the Giants been?
Oh, they've been bad. Oh, they've been terrible. They've been absolutely
terrible.
terrible.
Fall short. They took a long walk up.
Yeah, no, they've been terrible. Oh no, I could absolutely admit that the Giants have been the worst team in football for the past 5 years. I think 5-6 years maybe.
Since they got rid of everybody, made that chant to go with Eli, get rid of Eli.
Oh well, no, he was going to retire anyway. That man was getting old. They needed to move on.
They definitely needed to move on. But
still the best quarterback in Giants history, though. Eli's the man. Best athlete ever watched in my life.
Oh, now the best athlete, really?
In my life, my team, my sports teams.
I'm going to say Phil Simms was a better quarterback than Eli Manning was.
No. Eli Manning's got 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He's top 10 in I think passing touchdowns, I believe. Eli Manning is better than Phil Sims.
So your definition of a better athlete is because he has 2 Super Bowl rings? That's bullshit.
Well, I'm talking about me. Bullshit. I'm talking about my fandom, the teams that I root for, not of all time. One of the best athletes I've ever watched in my entire life was like Ken Griffey Jr.
Okay.
That's overall. I'm talking about teams I root for. Eli Manning was one of the best athletes I've ever gotten to watch in my life.
But again, I got to watch as a football fan. I got to watch
my team,
and I can tell you right now, I thought that Phil Sims was a better quarterback than Eli. Eli doesn't take the shots like Phil Sims used to take.
Eli do you remember that last Super Bowl run that he had? He got his brains beat in San Francisco. He was literally scraping his head off the turf.
That was a bad offensive line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Eli Manning got beat. That's why Eli Manning had to retire, because the Giants just let him get his brains beat in for the last like 3 or 4 years of his career.
If they could have protected him longer, he would still be playing right now.
Yeah,
he could play right now, but he just can't take the shots. I mean, look at Peyton. Peyton did the same thing. Peyton just his neck was fused together, and
yeah.
Today's rant brought to you by Mr. Tom Greer. All right. It is 2 days until baseball. I know Tom's excited. You gonna take the day off?
Thrilled. No, I can't. I'll still be able to watch it though. I can stream it. Totally fine.
Okay, there you go. Awesome. Mets, do they have the beat? Do they have the big pockets like we said, like Mr. Steve Cohen? Mets make a $325 million offer, and Uncle Stevie says, "I hope he decides to sign." And this is for Francisco Lindor. The New York Mets have offered a deal to close to 10 years and $325 million to All-Star shortstop Francisco Lindor as the two sides continue to work toward an agreement. And this was reported by Andy Martino of SNY. But Lindor wants $385 million, that greedy bastard. That puts the two sides still far apart with a little time before the likely deadline of opening day. Now, really 385, 325. Yeah, I understand that's a huge difference, but 325 million. What is that? The 4th largest deal in history?
Yeah. I think he'd only be behind Mike Trout, Mookie Betts. There's 2 more I just can't think of off the top of my head, but yeah, it's a lot of money. But the thing is though, especially when you're staring at a lockout or a CBA agreement next year, you don't know what the league is going to look like pay wise. I don't blame Lindor for trying to get as much money as humanly possible. Well, on
top of the fact though, there's nothing that states that there's nothing in concrete that the contract will begin in 2021 or 2022 yet. So that's the other thing. Even though it's an extension, is it going to start in 2022 or is it going to start now?
Well, it's going to start at the end of this season. It would start after this season because that's his deal is up after this year.
Well, it's who said that through ESPN for their article. It's not certain whether the Mets' proposed contract will begin with the 2021 or 2022 season. If agreed to, the average annual value would be $32.5 million. Would be the 9th largest such figure in MLB history. The deal would also tie Gonzalo Stanton's extension he signed with the Marlins as the 4th largest in the history of sport. Okay, so there you go. So this is the 9th. Garcia Stanton's is the 4th. But they're reporting that this is not concreted in if it starts this year or not. So again, if his contract is up, obviously that makes sense that it's going to start this year. And yeah, like the money that you're saying that gets, you never know, but Jesus Christ, $325 million. I mean, do you think Uncle Stevie's going to give him the 385?
I don't know if he'll give him 385. I think that they're eventually going to find middle ground here and they're going to get a deal done because I think it's the same like average annual value over because Lindor wants it over 12. He doesn't want 10 years. He wants 12 years. So he wants to be locked in for 12 years at 385. I'm sure they're going to come to something. They're going to come to some like middle ground, maybe just above 325, or Lindor caves and just takes the 325 because he realizes that's a whole bunch of money and it'd be stupid to turn it down. But there's a lot of people. Wait, what?
Wasn't he already signed this year?
Yeah. Well, this is last year of his deal. This year is it. It's he plays out the rest of the season and then he's up to sign wherever he wants, unless he signs an extension. But
yeah, I mean, and what if his contract's up and he goes somewhere else?
then
You know?
the Mets got to spend their money someplace else. They got to sign another shortstop. But saying no to $325 million or anything close to it is kind of wild. But again, all the people that are coming at him saying he's being super greedy and stuff like that, it's like if you were in his situation, you'd do the exact same thing. If you're one of the 5 best players in all of baseball, you're going to try to get every single dollar you possibly can from the richest owner in baseball. That's just the way it is.
I thought he already signed with the Mets.
No, they traded for him. They traded.
So he's playing. He's under contract for this year. Under his existing contract.
Under his existing contract that he had with Cleveland.
From the trade. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then
that's where I got confused because I was like, wait a minute, they just got him. Everybody was making a big deal that Lindor is going to the Mets.
It's an extension.
Yeah, they're looking to sign him to a longer term deal to just keep him there. But we'll see.
Do you think it's a smart move to give him that much money? Especially
yes.
Not to say just a shortstop,
yes,
but that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, but again, when you have the richest owner in baseball, the man's got like $16 billion. The dude has he's got money to just throw millions or billions into GameStop stock, lose it, and be fine. I don't care how Steve Cohen spends his money. I think it's totally worth it. I'm not thinking of 12 years down the road. I'm thinking of right now. I don't care about what happens down the line.
But can't they? I'm sure it's going to be loaded with incentives.
So a lot of it will be guaranteed.
Right, but can't they find some way? They should be able to find some way of a medium to where they can sit there and say, okay, listen, if you do this, then you're going to get this. On top of that.
Yeah, I'm sure
they did that with didn't they do that with Mahomes? There was stipulations and whatnot. Not all of his was guaranteed. He got a good chunk of it though.
Yeah, but baseball players wind up getting more guaranteed money than football players do. That's the gripe with football players.
What I'm saying is that he has to
guaranteed.
perform. He has to do certain things to get the rest of that money too. He has to. There's expectations coming for him, and I'm sure that we're going to see that with this contract as well.
That's true, but he's also probably trying to have less of that. He's probably trying to get more of that money just straight upright rather than having to meet certain expectations because he can. Because if he goes and tests free agency, assuming he has a normal Francisco Lindor year where he's again one of the 5 best players in all of baseball, he'll get that money from somebody. It's just it's just a matter of who, and I hope it's the Mets because again, he's one of the best players to play the game right now, and I don't see a reason why you don't sign him. I really don't, especially when you have the money to do it.
Well, let's hope they have a happy medium and let's say 355 and call it a day.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope so. I hope it's something. I just hope Lindor's a Met going forward past this season. And anybody that would boo Lindor for not signing this deal, like come opening day, you are an idiot and part of the problem. That's like, like I hate those
Tom,
people.
You're on fire today.
Well, it's because it's stupid. Because pretend just for a second that you're one of the best players in all of baseball. You have the opportunity to negotiate with the richest man in all of baseball and get as much money as humanly possible. That's what you're going to do. You're not going to take the first big deal that gets thrown in front of you. You're going to try and poke for more because you can, because you're one of the 5 best players in the entire sport.
But where does he fall? Where does he fall financially? Like in the contract amounts in players? Like is he like number 9?
Well, I don't know where his contract now is. I'm sure it's very team friendly because he's, I think this is his first like real payday that he's about to get because he's like only 27 years old, so I don't think it's very high. So he's looking to set the market because right now, other than Fernando Tatis Jr., he's the best shortstop in baseball, so he's looking to be the guy that sets the market.
What's Tatis getting?
I know he just signed a mega deal. Hold on.
See, well, I mean, you did call it that Uncle Stevie was going to spend some money, but we'll see. Just because you have deep pockets doesn't mean it's okay to spend it either.
$340 million over 14 years.
Holy shit!
Yeah, but
so if he gets 355 over 12, he's making decent money. He's actually doing better than Tatis was.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I think if you have the money to get a player of Lindor's caliber, again, one of the 5 best players in all of the sport. You do it because you need that. Shortstop's one of the most important positions on the field. You spend the money.
Very true. I agree with you.
I lived with the Mets team that all they did was nickel and dime players, and I had to get bargain bin.
Tom, you are on fire today. Did you have a bad day at work? You're heated.
No, I had a great day. I had a great day. I had a great day.
You are heated. I haven't seen this side of Tom yet on this show. That's awesome.
It's baseball season, man.
Oh,
Baseball
wait a
season
minute.
is here.
What's today?
Almost-
Today Tuesday? Oh, today's Tuesday. I keep thinking
Today's Tuesday.
I keep thinking for some reason today's Wednesday. I was gonna say you and Brim went toe to toe, but that's on Wednesday. So that's
That's on
that's
Wednesday.
why you're
Last week we had our best one yet, I think.
Oh, well, the Kimmy and
Kimmy Gibbler and Jar Jar Binks.
yes, that's so funny. All right, good old Jar Jar. All right, let's move on to some football news. What's gonna happen to Jimmy G? San Francisco 49ers 49ers moved. They all good old 45ers. They're playing the 69ers next. Move up to the number 3 position in the 2020 NFL draft, presumably to select another quarterback. But ESPN's Adam Schefter cited a source Friday saying that the Garoppolo is here to stay and is our guy this year. New York Patriots are no longer seeking a reunion with quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, according to the report. Now, what is this serious news? I mean, what are we thinking here? What's our take on this, Tom?
Jimmy G is like, I don't know. I never really saw what was so special about him. You know, like I think the Niners realize that too. That's why they made all those moves and they're going to actually try and draft somebody. But, you know, he's definitely not going back to the Pats. There's no way at this point.
There's no way.
Yeah.
You know, and on top of the fact he appeared just 6 games last
hurt
season due to an
all the
ankle
time.
Injury after leading the Niners to Super Bowl to the previous year.
And he didn't even look that great in the Super Bowl. You know, like I don't know. I just never really. I think Jimmy G is one of those guys that you can win a few games with him, but if you don't have a all-time defense or a very, very good defense, you're never going to really win with Jimmy G. I don't think.
Do you think he's a better backup than what the Patriots currently have behind Cam now?
Backup? Yeah, he's probably a good backup quarterback. He'd probably be a good backup to Cam. The thing is he's young, and he's young enough that if the Pats traded for him, you'd probably start him over Cam.
Yeah, well, they're not going to do that since they decided a $5 million.
Yeah, but that's nothing to them. That's like that's
I understand.
That's nothing to them.
Well, it's a 2-year deal. It ended up being $14 million or whatever, with incentives based on the game started in a potential playoff appearance. But Belichick still could add another quarterback to the roster this offseason. They currently own the number 15th pick in the draft after finishing last season 7-9, missing the postseason for the first time since 2008. Sorry, Bill. Just sorry. Where do you think he would? I just don't see it as I guess I don't see it as a big move anywhere. I just don't see. Obviously, they're never going to go. He's never going to go. I shouldn't say never. He's definitely probably not going to the Pats.
So I was watching the whole thing with the pro day today with Jones, and you got Belichick and you got the coach, you got Shanahan. They're all there, and you know that Belichick's not looking to draft Matt Jones, so they're there watching it, and they're talking and everything else. Because I was watching the whole thing today, and I think you're going to see Jimmy G go to the Pats because he knows.
You think so?
Josh? Yeah, I think because he knows Josh Daniels' offense, and then you got the band back together in New England with Matt Patricia there. So you got your defense.
But word is that they're not interested. What were you saying, Herb?
Do you think though they're going to sign Jimmy G and be like, you're not a starter? You think he's going to deal with that?
Bill Belichick has worked wonders. And the thing is that Jimmy G's played for Belichick. He's played for Josh Daniels when the whole group was there before. So he's just going back to the same thing, and he understands the offense that they're running. So if Cam can't pull it out, then they're going to wind up putting Jimmy G in. But they're not going to come out. They're not going to come out and say that they're interested in him because it's like going and looking at something and saying, "Oh, I really like that," and all of a sudden the price goes up.
Yeah, or another team snags him or whatever. Tom, so what do you think? Jimmy G over Cam?
Well, I think they probably start Jimmy G over Cam because I just think Cam Newton's old at this point. I think if you surrounded Jimmy G, and assuming this is all pending on the Pats having a defense that can come back and help them out a little bit, I think they'd be better off with Jimmy G as their quarterback. But I don't think that makes them very good in the AFC. Like they'll finish ahead of the Jets in the AFC East, but I don't think they'd beat the Bills. They'd probably even struggle with the Dolphins.
They'll be ahead of the Jets. That's not saying shit.
I know it's not, but I mean, but it is saying something if the Pats are coming in third place. Like if a Bill Belichick led team is coming in third place, that is saying something. I don't know. Maybe Jimmy G goes to like Carolina or something like that. Like maybe they try and trade for him because they actually are trying to replace Teddy Bridgewater and didn't just pay Cam Newton. So, I don't know. I don't know if Jimmy G is going to go back to New England, but it is New England. They do kind of keep things under wraps and they don't really say much. So I guess it's a possibility.
No, we never know. Like I said, we're going to see some. I think not just baseball, but all of the sports, all the major sports, we're going to see some major moves. Obviously, the NFL really seems to be making some serious moves right now.
Yeah,
more so than previous years. And that could be one of the positive things that came out of COVID. It's definitely a rebuilding year for a lot of teams out there right now. So it'll be interesting to see what the moves are going to be made and who's going to be making what. And we've heard, I'm sure we'll hear more about this as it goes on. Let's move over to the NBA. The Nets are the NBA's villains, whether they admit it or not. Whether or not the Nets agree or not, and whether they like it or not, their pursuit of a championship has turned them into NBA's newest villain. A league that once prioritized priority now sees a Nets team with 41 combined all-star appearances between its best players. The same Nets team that won 16 of their last 20 games, none of which Durant has played, obviously due to his hamstring, nearly swept the buyout market by poaching two of its three biggest names, Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. What do you think about this, Tom?
It's so funny because I remember when everybody gave LeBron James flack for going to Miami with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. And now the Nets are literally just scooping up anybody that has a name and a brand in the NBA and just having them on their team. It's crazy. If you would have just said 5 or 6 years ago that the Nets were going to have KD, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, all these players, it'd be like, are the Nets just turning into the all-star, an all-star team? Is that what's happening? It's like when you're playing Madden or an NBA game, and you're just like, I'm picking the East All-Stars. That's who I'm playing as.
Right.
It's crazy. It's so funny. But they're so easy to hate. It's one of those teams that they just have all the stars and you just instantly want to hate them because it's just I can't love the best. I can't just hop on a bandwagon like that.
Oop. This just in. Steve Cohen now owns the Nets and will be buying so many more players in the coming year.
Yeah. Yeah, the Nets wish.
I thought that was pretty funny. So other teams had no choice but to follow suit if they hope to keep up. The Celtics, Sixers, Heat, Nuggets, Lakers, and even Bulls have made moves in hopes of closing the talent gap between themselves and the Nets. Unlikely for those teams, though. The Nets have been in the league's most attractive buyout destination so far. Now, obviously, having an all-star team is great, and having a bunch of players that are all-stars, not necessarily always a good mix.
True.
Coming from the fact of there's a lot of goddamn egos out there, and boy, there might not be a lot of ball passing. There might be a lot of ball hogging, so that could become an issue because, who's going to, obviously, I want to be team captain. No, you're going to be, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do that. That can be an issue. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but again, that could happen. That could be a recipe for disaster. I mean, you put a lot of egos on one team and boy, granted back in the day, I always use the Bulls just because it's a good, a good example. I mean, obviously Jordan was the star for years, but then all of a sudden Scottie Pippen started to come out and then Dennis Rodman came on and there was kind of heat there. And then Grant, Bill Paxton, all of a sudden, the little white guy came out of nowhere, 3-point guy that was killing it. There became problems there. Now, not only was it just Jordan, now Pippen's holding his own. There's disputes about because Pippen was one of the most underrated and most underpaid basketball players during that time, and he wasn't getting just due, and that caused some friction between him and Jordan. So obviously times are a little bit different now. Obviously the rate of pay is much higher, but that could cause a problem. I mean, that's something to really think about.
Right, True. But they were winning.
What do you mean?
All that they were winning. Chicago was winning with all those
win or lose, it doesn't matter. I mean,
I understand that.
Well, I think if you were going to have a team full of ego, if the Nets had a team, I don't think that's going to happen. James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant, are the three best players on that team, and they for the most part have all figured out how to work together.
And that's
how to figure out how to dish the ball, distribute the ball, score their points, And then like LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin are just going to be like role players to like help them be like just depth players kind of. So I don't think that, but even if they like had all those egos and like, it was a little bit of a headache, like you were just mentioning, like Hank saying, if the Nets just win, nobody cares. If the Nets were to have the Bulls' success, but they were a little dysfunctional because there was a whole bunch of egos on the team, nobody's going to care because they're just winning games and ultimately winning titles, know? But who knows if they might get one. I think I'm not going to say they're going to get like 4. They're going to get like maybe 1.
I don't disagree with it. Like I said, I was trying to look at the other side too, just in case, because we know how egos can be on a team, and you put too many
Especially in
Chiefs
the
and not
NBA.
enough Indians, especially in the NBA. Yeah, so that's going to be tough. Well, on that note, that sound means it's a Body Armor timeout. We'll be right back.
Introducing Body Armor Edge, sports hydration with the boost of caffeine.
Kyler Murray drops back, looks downfield. Here comes the blitz. Murray finds an opening. And 99 dives and he misses. He's got daylight. Murray sprinting, picking up speed.
With 100 milligrams of caffeine and 1,000 milligrams of electrolytes, there's no better way for Kyler Murray to get his edge. It's more than a sports drink. It's Body Armor Edge.
It is the Tuesday Night Sports Edition with Mr. Greer.
Hello.
So we're going to be jumping around on sports. Thank God it's not all about baseball. It's just a warm
I
up.
keep you guys in mind. I just want to let you know that every time I'm trying to put topics together, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm not going to kill Hank and Herb today because I won't give them all baseball.
Well, guess what? You're going to kill us next week.
Maybe.
That's okay, Tom.
Maybe
we pick on you, but that's okay. You throw me a cornhole story once every 6 weeks, I'm good.
Yeah. I'll look for. Well, we're starting to get. It's like summertime. Springtime's here. Summertime's coming. So there probably will be more cornhole stories because that's a summertime barbecue sport.
Very true. Very true. Oh, maybe we can get Jays to sponsor this show too, like they do the other one. There we go. Barbecue and cornhole. So we've talked about soccer in the past, as far as U.S. and European soccer, or I should say football. We aren't that good. Will we ever be that good? I don't know. I really want. I had a chance a few years ago, and had like four chances to go see the Red Bulls, New York City Red Bulls for soccer. And I love New York City, and I turned them down. And I'm just like thinking to myself, what, I don't want to go, but I love soccer. But I'm like, whatever. I don't want to go. But United States has lost 2-1 to Honduras in the Conference K. Do I have to spell that out, or is CONCACAF Olympic qualifying? Yeah, whatever. Shorten that up. Olympic qualifying semifinals on Sunday, missing out on the Olympics for a third consecutive time. Now, this is not a big surprise for me that they've lost again. I mean, our women's soccer, our women's Olympic soccer team is amazing. They've done great the last few times they've been around. It's like the other sports, like basketball, when we put the professionals in, when we put the pros in, we really kick some butt. We don't have any good pros. Even if we did, it's not the same quality of a player. And that's what kind of sucks for me.
All of our pros go play in other countries.
Yeah.
All of our good pros go play in other countries. And then, they don't come back for the Olympics or anything like that because like they don't want, I guess their teams, I don't know if their teams just don't let them go or they just don't come because they don't want to hurt themselves for the Premier League, for what they're actually making their money in,
After the United States men failed to qualify for the Olympic Games on Sunday, former Mexico national team assistant coach Mario Carrello said he felt the U.S. made a mistake to not include the core of promising players under the age of 23, including Christian Palace, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and Sergio Dest. Those players are all as Tom said, all with European clubs, were not available to play in Guadalajara because their clubs were not obliged to release them from the Olympic qualifying U.S. soccer. So that's why. The teams weren't allowed to. Obviously, why would you pull your star players to do, technically, without any insulting the Olympics, pretty much exhibition games? I mean, not to say the Olympics aren't important, but to a professional player, these are exhibition games. This is like the All-Star game, This is like preseason football, pretty much. It doesn't really mean anything. Yes, it means there's a status and there's a mystique. But when you're looking at these teams that are paying for these guys, they don't want them going anywhere. And why are our star players playing in Europe? Why is it? That's another good question. Why are they leaving and not staying in the States? Is it the money? Obviously, European soccer, I should say football, is a different. It's a different paced game. It's much faster than our U.S. team, our U.S. soccer is. But why do they keep going across? I mean, is it the status thing? Is it the rate of pay? I mean, who knows?
Probably. It's probably the rate of pay. It's probably the game. It's the same reason that other people come here to play baseball, come here to play football, come here to play hockey, because they're going to get more money and the competition is going to be better. You're going to get more money playing for Chelsea FC and a better competition rather than coming here and playing for the New York Red Bulls. You're going to make more money. Like you see guys at the end of their careers, like almost ready to retire from overseas, coming over here and just owning like the MLS, and that's not great because you don't have the product here that's going to have your star players stay. There's no reason for them to stay.
Now, when they brought Beckham over, one, I thought at the time when they brought Beckham over years ago, one was a definite marketing ploy because he was pretty injured. So he didn't play a lot, but the minute LA took him on, their ticket sales quadrupled. Like it's like when Jordan would play. I don't give a shit what team they're playing, but if I want to watch Jordan play kind of thing. Beckham didn't play almost halfway through the first season because of his injury. And then he did own for a while. Obviously he didn't last very long either. He didn't stay, but you know what it is too. I think, how we idolize our players here. We all have our sports. Who's your sports idol, Tom? Who is the one player that is just like your idol that you looked up to as a kid and still do today?
Mike Piazza. Mike Piazza was my favorite. Was the reason I started getting into baseball. He was my favorite player on the Mets growing up. It was that's probably who I'd pick.
Snacks. Who was yours?
Well, I didn't get to watch him play, but it was Jerry Kramer. I've read a lot of books on him and stuff like that. But I mean, active players, it would have to be Brett Favre.
Okay, and obviously everybody knows mine's Jordan. Now we look at these three players, and they are held on a pedestal. Now you go take your major European or Premier League soccer players over there, and they're not looked at as idols. They are treated like gods. It's unreal the status that Messi. I mean, who's the player for Madrid? I forgot his name. They put them on such a high like. Towns will shut down if somebody one of their players comes into town. It's like everybody just stops working, and they are treated like gods over there. The status of what a good soccer player over there holds compared to what a status of a Tom Brady or Michael Jordan over here is non-comparable. So seeing that status and seeing that as well, in soccer, you don't get paid the money that you get paid in the NFL or the NBA, but over there, it's still.
You still get a lot. Like Messi makes a lot of money, like a lot of money.
And the endorsement deals that these guys make over there is unreal. It's just unreal, the endorsement deals that they make through soccer. But again, their status over there is like royalty over there, and it's unheard of anywhere else in the world. Yeah. Anywhere else in the world, you don't see that.
I mean, people still talk about Pele.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a soccer fan, but I still remember watching. You watch the Sunday they had this. What was that sports that they had on Sundays?
Wild
World of Sports. So you have Pele, and all of a sudden you see him do that kick,
that backflip kick,
backflip kick, and I'm like, oh, holy shit!
Yeah, it's crazy, and like I said, for over there, and why can't? And what's weird is that I think we've talked about this. That soccer was getting an uptick in the United States. It was getting up there. All of a sudden, it just dropped. It went nowhere again. And obviously, there's other things. Obviously, there's baseball, there's NFL, there's over in Europe, many of these countries, you know what? Soccer's cheap to play. It's a ball.
Well, I think it's just you're still going to take more time. I think to getting soccer to be a bigger sport in the States is going to just take
Tom. It's been years.
A lot though, because more and more comes out about the NFL, and more kids are being held out from playing football year after year. That it's just going to take it's going to take more time. I don't know if like soccer in the States will never get to the level of baseball, never get to the level of football. Right. Like they'll be lucky to get to the hockey level, but with more and more kids playing soccer, I mean, you're probably gonna it'll be a little bit. I'd like to think would be a little bit more competitive down the line. You know,
hope so.
we should have good coaching. We clearly don't have good coaching.
No, that's true too. That's true. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Like I said, too bad we couldn't get the pros to come over playing the Olympics.
Yeah,
but we'll see what happens the next round, I guess. Poor men's. Maybe the girls should go on the men's team.
Yeah, well, they should just teach them how to play soccer because apparently the men's team is just absolutely hot garbage.
They are hot garbage. They're terrible. Have you ever watched them play? They're horrible.
I mean, I watched them like the only times that I ever really get into soccer is during the World Cup and then Olympics, just because of the Olympics are the Olympics. But
and we suck in World Cup. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, I don't. Yeah, you can't really get too excited.
What's the one just opposite World Cup? It's always the year after World Cup.
I do not know.
And it's a little bit lesser league or championship, but it's pretty intense as well. We don't even do good in that.
No, it's
like whatever.
It's because everybody that they need to play soccer is going to play basketball, football, or baseball. That's what they're doing.
Yeah,
I
agree. But like I say, saying too, a lot of European countries, kids grow up with a soccer ball in their hands from day one. Mexico, Spain, Madrid, everywhere. It's just crazy.
You don't need all the equipment, like you said. It's just the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't need a net. You don't need crap. They play with no shoes on. So I mean, they're playing in the streets. They don't need anything. And again, you know what it is? The way they hold those players as gods, kids look up to them going, I want to be that. I want to be that.
Oh, totally.
I want to be them. Granted, yes, kids are like, I want to be Tom Brady or I wanted to be Michael Jordan, but it's not the same. The stature is unreal over there. It's crazy. But anyway, we'll keep you up to date on. No, we won't keep you up to date because there's really not much U.S. soccer news. So we'll wait till next year. All right. On that, as we wind down, we're going into today in sports history, and today in sport history is brought to you by one of our first-time sponsors / advertisers. Been with us pretty much almost from day one. They are back. It is Adventure Family Fun Center. Yes, the crowd goes nuts. So they are going to be opening again. Thank the Lord. Thank God New York State has allowed them to come back and open up. They will be opening up this Friday. Now, there are standards still. You have to wear masks, and there are protocols and procedures there. Everybody's going to be safe. It is now. They're going to be open for reservations only at this time. Now, it does say in the post that the walk-ins are welcome, but don't be surprised if they won't allow you in because the space is maxed. So their hours are going to be Friday from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Sunday 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Again, reservations, protocols will be in effect. Masks are required at all times. Now, Snacks, give us a little bit of a rundown. Now, we'll be doing some more, and I'll be talking about the Adventure Family Fun Center tomorrow too, because they have a wristband package going on as well, which I think is pretty cool. Something kind of neat that I've never seen before. But give people an idea of what they do. Now, we talked about their go-karts. Now, if it is nice weather, I was told that the go-karts may be running as well. So that'd be something cool. Is our code still in effect for this year too? If the go-karts are running?
They're actually going to be bringing back the code for the free go-kart rides. And this year they actually got all the indoor go-karts up and running.
Ooh, indoor ones.
They
awesome.
They are electrical or battery charged, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I went up there yesterday, and they had quite a few people in there yesterday. And it was the go-karts were running on the inside, and they had the arcades going.
Oh, I thought they were opening this Friday. Did they open last Friday?
They're doing a rough opening this week from 3 o'clock until 7, up until Friday. And then they'll open up on the weekend, and then they're going to start opening the hours up as it gets warmer outside, because they'll start trying to open the outdoor carts as well.
I would also assume that they'll be open all next week because it is spring break.
Yes, they will be for school break. Okay. They have the arcade going. Nice. It's all socially distanced, and they've got it so you can only go in one direction. They got laser tag bumper cars. They haven't got the paintball thing open yet, but they're working on that right now.
Tom, we
So they'll have it.
we gotta do go-karts and paint. Can we take the
Yeah.
paintball and bring it into the go-kart area?
No,
Mad
but they-
Max.
it's like a shooting gallery that they're building right now inside there.
Nice. You
and then they
imagine that
gotta-
Mad Max go-kart paintball.
That'd be all crazy dangerous, but awesome. I'd be down.
But,
Why is it
I mean,
dangerous? You got a face mask on. What are you worried about?
I know that they did a rough opening this past weekend, and they
Okay.
just were swamped
Awesome.
with reservations. People are, calling up and they're Facebook messaging and everything else, and they're getting reservations to get in there. And they're just asking people to understand that the phones are going to ring, and they're going to try and get everybody in as the best they can by reservations. And then the walk-ins, like you said, they got to wait. They'll get there, and they'll tell them, it'll be a half an hour wait, and then they can go in. But
Nice.
the wristband thing is, like you were saying, the wristband frenzy that they're doing up there is $35, and you get 2 hours in there, and you can do unlimited go-karts, unlimited bumper cars, unlimited laser tag, as long as it's within that 2 hour frame.
Yeah, $35 for 2 hours of anything. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. If you need any more information or content, or even make a reservation, you can visit adventurefamilyfun.com. So definitely, they're very helpful there. Or you can message them on their Facebook page. I do know that they get back to people as quick as possible, so that's really cool. So let's get into today in sports history. Mr. Greer, take it away.
All right, today in 1981, the 43rd NCAA Men's Basketball Championship, Indiana beats North Carolina 63-50. The Hoosiers' future Hall of Fame point guard Isaiah Thomas is named the tournament's most outstanding player. 1990, Jack Nicklaus makes his debut on the Senior PGA Tour with a 71 in the first round. He went -1 of a traditional at Desert Mountain. He wins the event by 4 strokes over Gary Player.
Nice.
2001, this one's kind of nuts. At 15 years and 9 months, American swimmer Michael Phelps breaks the 200-meter butterfly world record at the U.S. World Championship in Austin, Texas, becoming the youngest male to set a world mark. Isn't that kind of nuts? At 15 years old, he
That's
set
crazy.
that record. That's
They had to
bananas.
put the 9 months in there.
Yeah, and the 9 months. So if somebody does 15 years and 8 months, you beat the record.
Right.
And then finally in 2020, this was the day that they announced they had to postpone the Olympics to this year. This is when we got the announcement that they wouldn't be having an Olympics or Summer Olympics in 2020, and that is today in sports history. The Phelps one blew my mind.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. 15 years.
And then he becomes Subway sponsor, and then gets yelled at for smoking marijuana.
Yeah.
And then we don't hear from him again.
Yeah.
Darn it. That's funny too, when we have Olympic stars like that. Now, obviously, Bruce Jenner, or whatever she's calling herself now, seemed to be the one that really took the Olympic status to a high standard, where he was on Wheaties boxes. Not that Phelps wasn't, but Mike Tyson too. I mean, he was Olympic. Mike Tyson was an Olympic boxer as well. But nobody's taken the stature of being an Olympic superstar to the level that Bruce Jenner did. And that's funny how
Phelps did. I think Phelps did.
Phelps,
when he won all of his gold medals, he was all over the place.
I guess
all over the place.
But even after Bruce Jenner wasn't done years after Olympics, he was still doing stuff.
I think that Bruce Jenner set the standard for Olympians.
You think so?
I think he set the standard back then. Yes.
But to be honest but I mean, even going forward, I feel like at a certain point, when Caitlyn was Bruce Jenner, fell out of the limelight for a while until they were with she linked up with the Kardashians.
I understand that, but but I haven't seen an Olympian for years stay in the spotlight. Even after the Olympics, after doing any performance, Phelps did for a while, but nothing like Jenner did. I don't believe. I'm just saying that.
But I think the only reason he stayed in the spotlight was because he linked up with Kris Jenner. I don't necessarily.
But back then, you really didn't. I mean, this is even before OJ and all that kind of crap. I don't think it had anything to do with it. You didn't even know who the Kardashians were before OJ.
That's true.
That's
true. But you didn't have all the streaming capabilities that we have today either.
True. That's true.
That's the thing. It's going to be how far out that you can spread it. Bruce Jenner, it was basically, if you didn't watch it on TV or listen to it on the radio, that was the only 2 ways that you had to watch it or listen to it.
True.
That's true. I think we look at our athletes a little differently than we did in the past. I mean, he was really a celebrity back then. Phelps, me personally, I don't think Phelps as a celebrity. he's like a spokesperson. He's not.
Yeah.
And maybe he's just the type of person he is. He's quiet and wanted to stay out of the limelight. That may be what it is. I haven't seen him do a lot of commentating, which I know Bruce Jenner did for a while. Maybe that's just what he does. I mean, after you're done with the Olympics, what do you do for a job? I mean, where do you make your money? It's not like they give you a retired Olympics fund.
And the other thing is that Jenner was in a lot of other events within his category, so where, Phelps is swimmer, and then you've got Bolt, who is, the runner, and then Jenner just did, he did multiple events. So that's what I mean by setting the precedent.
Carl Lewis the same way with all his track career. He was pretty good for, out there in the limelight as well. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on the Tuesday night edition of Today with DW. Make sure to visit, check out our sponsors, Body Armor, obviously, drinkbodyarmor.com. Try their brand new sports/energy drink, Body Armor Edge. Like I said, drinkbodyarmor.com for a location near you. The Shirt Factory, visit shirtfactorygf.com. Their last spicy food event went very well from what I heard. I was sorry we could not get there. But there's going to be some more events coming up, and we'll keep it going as in May. May's just really almost right around the corner, and the Food Truck Corral will be back in full force, hopefully. Knock on wood. I'm sure we still have to do some social distancing, but go ahead.
So I don't want to say it's breaking news, but they just made a deal with the South High Marathon Dance, which everybody knows about that. So they're doing a special Friday night food truck on April 30th, which I believe is the night of the South High Marathon Dance. They're doing a Friday night food truck rally. I think they're doing the night of, which is that Friday the 30th. So they're doing a special food truck night. They're going to have giveaways and everything else. So, like you said, we'll keep you apprised of what's going on, and then let everybody know what's going on and things that you can get there, and what food trucks are going to be there.
Awesome.
And stuff like that. So
cool. Awesome. All right. Also, Venture Family Fun Center. Like I said, visit Venture Family Fun to make your reservations. They're going to be opening up April 2nd through the 9th is the spring break. So they'll be open every day during the spring break, and we'll give you the hours for that. And lastly, Chase Sports Complex. Some big news there too. It looks like they're going to be opening up spring and summer facilities over at the MVP section there.
MVP Center.
Visit chasesportscomplex.com for more information. So that's pretty cool. Volleyball, batting cages, the whole 9 yards. It's going to be awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Any last words, Mr. Tom Greer?
Let's go Mets.
Snacks.
I'm getting a pillow and a blanket for next Tuesday because he's going to be talking about baseball.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.
And there you have it. McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich. This isn't just another chicken sandwich. No, it's more than that. It's the crispy chicken sandwich. From the makers of the world's most stolen fries. It's the juicy chicken sandwich from the place that offers extra napkins for a reason. It's the tender chicken sandwich from the creators of a sandwich phenomenon. So you won't just be biting into a chicken sandwich. You'll be biting into McDonald's new crispy, juicy, tender chicken sandwich. Introducing McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwiches.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.